I'm sure over the past like 2, 3 years, you've seen all sorts of videos on AI this, AI that. But what exactly does it mean? How can you use AI today to help make your life a little bit better? So let's talk about a few things that you can do right now today to enhance your daily life, be it productivity, work, school, or just day-to-day stuff. So getting right into it, it needs to be known that there are many types of AI. So just like maybe having a Mac for one thing or having a Windows for another may be better or worse, just like that, there is AI that is better or worse at certain stuff. For example, there's ChatGPT, the one that I'm sure everyone has heard about. You can use that for grammar, for writing, for movie reviews, for coding, for anything. But then there are specifications of AI that are better at some things than others are. So if you're an engineer, this probably is the scariest thing in your life or the best thing that's ever happened to you. AI has made coding so much easier. If you're a student, it is much easier to cheat, but don't do that. Or research using AI. Or if you're just a regular 9-to-5 worker that has a lot of spreadsheets in their day, you can use AI to make your day so much easier. With all of these interactions, it needs to be known that there are better ones and worse ones for that. If you're an engineer and you are super heavy into coding, you've probably already heard of them, but there's Copilot and there's Claude, two of the top AIs used for engineering stuff. If you are just simply wanting to use AI as a search engine, there is Perplexity and Gemini from Google. If you're writing an essay, you need some sort of grammatical help, you can use GPT. If you're an artist and you need some sort of help when it comes to image generation, you can use Midjourney or DALL-E. Or if you're in video and audio, you can use stuff like 11 Labs or Synestia. Or if you're just into productivity and you want to be a super productive and efficient person, you can use stuff like Notion AI or Zapier, two things of which we'll talk about today. All of these things have their own specifications that if you're in this field, you may or may not have heard of, but now we're going to go into one in each category, just so if you're in marketing, or if you're a student, or if you're in engineering, you now know how to use these to the best to make your life easier. We can talk about how to use this to make your life as easy as possible. Number one thing is ChatGPT, we can use for spreadsheets and data manipulation and stuff like that. Let's say that you need to do something with the spreadsheet on Excel, but you don't want to do it. And let's say that that information in there is legally okay to be used in a software like ChatGPT. You can do something like this. So here's an example data set that I got from Google. Let's just paste it in here. Give me this data in reverse order. Again, doing this in Excel isn't the hardest thing in the world to do, but if you're trying to do something quickly, here is a much easier way for you to do this. So now we've done give me this data in reverse order, and it's doing that. It's giving me the data in reverse order. Let's say give me the data in accordance, or we could say something like convert all this information in cm to feet. That way, if for whatever reason you needed to do this, this will then just do it for you. As we can see here, it's doing it for us with the data that we gave before in that reverse order. But again, let it be known, this is very beginner stuff. This is barely scratching the surface of what AI can do. Spreadsheets is just the most simple thing you can ask it to do. And like I mentioned before, you can also use it for image generation. Let's say you're doing some sort of presentation and you need an image to help present whatever it is that you're talking about. Or here on a different AI like Perplexity, which is low-key my favorite. So we can use Perplexity right here to do a trip analysis for us. Help me plan this trip, and here are the flight, hotel cost, all this other stuff. What are some cool stuff I can do based off current TikTok trends, whatever it is. And while this is loading, as you can see here, I was literally using it for this video. And here it's loading, it's thinking, it's doing all sorts of crazy stuff. I actually have Perplexity Pro, so whatever it's doing in a pro guide. As you can see, it took these two videos, maybe from TikTok or YouTube, and now it's using those for this. Look at all this stuff, 7-day itinerary, Gangnam, Busan. Busan's actually really beautiful. And all this other stuff that you could do here. Then you could also ask it for maybe even flights that you wanted to do. But again, these are very surface level things we're asking it to do that just enhance the everyday day-to-day of our lives. There are a lot of other cool stuff you can do, especially when it comes to productivity, workflow efficiency. The place to do that is Zapier. Zapier is basically an automation tool that uses AI to link X app to Y app. So the way that I have this set up is that Calendar Pro, Google Calendar, and my Todoist. Whenever I create anything on Calendar, like an event, it'll automatically put that in my to-do list on Todoist. That way I don't need to do both manually, one will just do the other. So let's explore what exactly we can do here on Zapier. The coolest thing that you can do, like I said, other than linking those apps, is that you can kind of create it yourself. So this is using Copilot. You can be like, trigger here, any of these apps that do anything, when it does this, do also this. So let's say you have a YouTube. Whenever you post a video on YouTube, I want it to do this also. Maybe post it on Google Calendar. And in addition to that, I also want that Google Calendar post to send a message into my Slack. And if it sends a message into my Slack, create some sort of document for it on Notion. One event triggers all of them once they're linked, and it helps you with workflow and productivity because instead of having to do all four of these manually, this one now does all four. In addition to that, there's all sorts of other stuff you can do here with Zapier, like SMS notifications. You can use this for Webflow, like if you're doing something on an actual website. If something on this website happens, send me a text or send me an email. There's all sorts of stuff you can do here if you play around with this app. which maybe I'll make a video on later, but Zapier is low-key the productivity hack. You can link every single thing that you want to be linked together to make sure you never miss anything. So in this flow, we could be like, I'm gonna post a YouTube video. When it does that, add it to my Google Calendar the day that the premiere is, and then send me a message in a Slack or create a Slack channel for it. And once that's done, make a notepad on Notion for it. And then once that's done, send me an email confirmation that all of this has been done. And the funniest part here is that while I was doing research for this video, I asked Perplexity, what are the top 10 things I can use Zapier for to make my life easier and connect these different apps? So here's a workflow that you can use. Anytime somebody fills out a Google form or type form, put it directly into my Salesforce CRM. What? Do you know how much time you would save by doing that? Which is low-key crazy. Anytime I get a Google form response, send a personalized Gmail to them, an email to them, and then create a Trello card to make sure that I don't forget it. Here's another thing you can do as well that I thought was pretty cool. Zoom transcript. So during a Zoom call, here's an AI that also joins the call. The second it's done, send me a gist of what we talked about in a summarized text. Like what? Do you understand? Like if you miss a call, you could just do this and listen to the AI. You never have to join a call again. So now that we've covered some work stuff that you can do with it, if you're a student or if you're in college or studying or whatever it may be, there's a lot of stuff you can do with AI to help you there. The number one AI that I would use for this is of course GPT, Claude if you're in engineering, and then Perplexity for research. Again, do not try to cheat. They have such good anti-AI software now that you will get caught and you'll get expelled for plagiarism. Don't even do it. Use AI as an assistant or a check for what you've already created by yourself. So here, what I think is absurd, I was just talking to my wife about this, she's pre-law. Scan this PDF in my Google Drive, write a summary with it with GPT, and then add all the important events to my Google Calendar. This usually used to take me like 2-3 hours, and I hated it. Now you don't need to at all. Once again, lecture notes, those are like 3 hours long each. Even on 2x speed, they suck. So you could be like, yo, Otter AI, make a transcript, do a summary of the transcript with Claude, and then add that to my Notion so I can study it later. You can do another thing here. Again, I'm reading this off of Perplexity. They gave you the ideas. You can also do Google Lens of the ISBN of a book you're trying to buy that's too expensive. If Amazon or eBay price tracker says that it's lower, send me a text message of this so I can buy it. The possibilities are endless, and this is all stuff that just enhances the quality of your life so that you can have your mind share towards other stuff. Because these are all little small detail stuff that add up, and when you have to do all these little things, it gets in the way of all the big stuff. So here's another example that I'm using here with Perplexity. I'm writing a research paper on endangered animals in Africa. What are the top sources to use and the most interesting things to include? Again, when you're doing research, it's basically enhanced Googling. That's just what it is. And if you have a PDF of a book that may not be present in real life, you can just put that PDF in here and be like, yo, tell me the top most important things of this 700-page book, and I don't need to waste 700 pages worth of time reading it. So here, instead of Googling 15 different things to find these things, you can now just use this. So the top academic and NGO sources for this is IUCN, Red List, it's PMC articles, African Parks, whatever. The key themes to include, again, this isn't giving you answers, it's giving you help to find your own answers, which is how AI should be, most likely. What you should include is habitat fragmentation, southern white rhino, Zakuma National Park, all these other cool things. And it's not just telling you or writing it for you. It's helping you write whatever it is that you need to write. AI is fantastic, but it's still not to the point where most people can tell this is an AI because of the anti-AI stuff. And it's not AGI yet, where it's going to completely replace human activity. So use it as an assistant to help you do stuff. One final thing that I want to throw in here is Alexa. Alexa is so good. I love this bitch so much. You can use it for literally anything. Find my phone, call it, smart home stuff like Ring or smart light bulbs, remind me to do this, remind me to do that, set an alarm for this, what's the weather. This thing is only $50. It sounds so weird, and I know you're not gonna believe it until you use it, but it is so incredibly useful integrating Alexa into your flow. I literally use this and talk to this bitch every single day. Other than my wife and maybe my cats, I talk to her more than anyone. Once you start to talk to it to do the stuff that you don't want to do, or simple stuff like not forgetting to take something out of the oven, whatever, you'll never stop using it. So I hope this video helped. I know we glossed over a lot of subjects and did not necessarily focus into one. I went over a few examples of what you can do to help your day-to-day, whether it's work or school or productivity or efficiency, but I wanted to show this to anybody that didn't necessarily know what to do in AI to actually help you. Because it's such a broad term, and sometimes it can be cringy the way that people use it. But the whole point is to make your life easier. It's supposed to take care of the automated stuff so that you have mind share to do other stuff that is worth your time even more. So don't get caught behind. Use GPT, use Perplexity, make a picture with Midjourney, whatever it is, and just try to use it to enhance your life. Hope this helped.